Lacey asked that we give you guys a little introduction. So I'm just going to talk to you about our peak journey so far. And I do want to reiterate, like, it is a journey. Some days it feels like you take one step forward and 10 steps back, but you will get there. And it's at the end of the day, it's well worth it, and definitely the right thing to do for the residents. So we started in 2012. We had been doing some peak things prior to that with the original peak program, and then it kind of fell off a little bit. And then when Peak 2.0, we revamped and got to rolling again. We started out at level 1. We were then given the opportunity to apply for level 3 and skip level 2, and we did apply for that and achieve that. And then since then, this past year, we were named level 5. So we've come quite a ways in our journey. And some of the things that I'll kind of just tell you, like, what we did on the Meaningful Life side. We used to have, I guess, what I would call a traditional activities department. We had activities director, and then they had, I think with the time we had 3 assistants. We are a continuing care retirement community. We have 60 in healthcare and skilled care, 14 residents in memory care, and then we can have up to 25 in our assisted living. So that's the amount of residents that we're serving. Anyway, so we have the traditional model of activities, and as we continue through our person-centered care journey, what we realized, we weren't really offering activities all day long or on the weekends. Like, basically, they were here Monday through Friday during the daytime hours, your regular, 8 to 5. We didn't have anything in the evenings and nothing on the weekends. So we tried to figure out a way to better accommodate that. And the other thing that we were realizing is that we were having to take double staff, like if we went on a outing, or even if we had even the events in-house, because our activities folks were not certified nurse aides. So if a resident needed to use the restroom or needed some assistance that the activities directors weren't qualified to do, we were kind of having to double up staff on there and have the activities people and our direct care staff at all of those. So we switched that model, and instead of having a separate activities department, we actually brought it under the nursing umbrella, and all of the activities folks had to be at least CNAs. And then we set it up, we had a Monday through Thursday daytime person, we have an evening person, and then we also have a weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday person, so that we were spreading out our activities throughout all of the day. Katina had been with us already, had been with Pine Village like several years. How many years have been with us total?
20 years.
20 years total. So she's been here through all of the journeys. And when we decided to do this changeover, we actually asked Katina if she would be willing to kind of take the lead on the life enrichment coordinator. And so she does the Monday through Friday, or the Monday through Thursday right now, and schedules all that, and then works with the residents. But I want her to tell you guys a little bit about why she agreed to take on that position, and what that has done for the residents, that she's seen it all.
Well, I worked in nursing for 18 years before the life enrichment position was asked for me to take over, and just seeing the different aspects of everyone's lives and individualizing person-centered care. And like Shelby said, we have tried, doing the PEAK program in the past, and you take a step forward and it's like 5 steps back, and it was very difficult until Shelby came here, and then we just really utilized the PEAK program. So, and I just always had it in my head that I just wanted the elders taken care of, like I would want someone to take care of my grandma, grandpa, just knowing them as individuals, knowing what they want to do, and not just thinking that you had to have this big group to be able to have an activity, and just to have more quality of life. Quality over quantity, yes, kind of became my motto. So the last 2 years has been a little difficult with getting everyone on board and everything, but I would say probably it's taken a good 1.5 years for like staff and getting everyone on board. But it's very nice, and the residents have more choices. We have more activities of interest now. So we are definitely going in the right direction now.
And I think Katina kind of hit the nail on the head. We've all been kind of trained to think it's more of like quantity, how many people can we get at this large group activity? When in reality, I don't think we had to change our mindset on that and realize that, like, you know, it's more important for the activity to be meaningful. And maybe if it's only meaningful to 2 or 3 people, then that's more successful than having 20 people at an activity who's 17 of them just really don't care. So Katina's been amazing at that. We went from having some residents who had never, ever participated in any activity literally their whole time that they've been staying here. Like, no activities were ever documented. They did want to go to group activities. We didn't really have anything else for them to do. And Katina has gotten to know them individually. She set them up on individual programs to where they're doing activities that they choose to do. Maybe it's just by themselves. Maybe it's just with a friend. I mean, it's just whatever works for that person and whatever that person enjoys. And what we've also seen is those residents are much happier. I would say almost flourishing better before. You know, they're engaged during the day. They're excited about what they're doing, and they enjoy that. And that's in huge, large part to Katina. She was really key to making sure that this new structure was going to work. So, and you do, I mean, it was a big change for us. We took a chance on it, you know, we had the opportunity to fail, but you can't let that stop you, you know, and if you do fail, you still, in my mind, it's still a success because we learn from that failure and can move forward. Luckily, we had a win for this one, and we had the right people in the right place, so it has been successful. Katina has also been key in generating like new activities. And that's just through her relationships that she's built one-on-one with residents, you know, just really getting to know their interests. Like, we've recently added a knitting group, and I think that kind of came out of conversations that you had just had with some residents. So there was, and how many ladies do you have in that group now?
At least 6 that come, and it's just mainly just getting to know them, knowing their past. Even if they feel like today they cannot perform, you know, hands-on with knitting, they are still involved and can come and look at other people's knitting projects and talk about their past knitting and like bring things that they have done also. It just doesn't mean, you know, like hands-on knitting class. So
and that's the other thing that Katina's really been key at too, is thinking outside the box on those, and what, you know, it doesn't actually literally mean that they have to sit there and knit, but they're bonding with other residents. They're taking advantage of those opportunities, and they're having meaning and purpose, you know, through that activity. What's this one I'll tell you about? The other thing was on the evenings and the weekends. Like, we literally had no activities unless neighborhoods just kind of develop that on their own. But another way to help with that, in addition to having the set staff for that now, a key person, we also have what we've called life enrichment
specialists.
Yes, life enrichment specialists, thank you, that are on each neighborhood. So they also coordinate with Katina and then our other 2 coordinators to do those individual, like, neighborhood activities, whether it's a trip or if they want to, you know, eat McDonald's for lunch or go do something, whatever it may be. But those folks too are key in making sure that those residents' wants and needs are met as far as life enrichment and the activities that they want to do and participate in. So that's helped also. Lacey wants to talk for about 20 minutes. We have also, I know you guys are going to have questions, so I do want to hear those, and we've got like some examples laid out for you guys that I hope are helpful depending on what struggles you guys are having or what you're doing. I will touch a little bit on the community involvement side. Some things that we've always been pretty active in the community. Mound Ridge, I don't think I told you that either. We're located in Mound Ridge. We're just about 40 miles north of Wichita. We're a 2A school. You guys are familiar with that. We have about 1,500 people in the community. So it's a small community, and we have a fairly large campus out here. We've got a wellness center. So the community also utilizes our campus a lot, and we partner with them in a lot of activities throughout the year. Like we host the community Easter egg hunt, we host the trick or treat that's getting ready to come up. We host a lot of blood drives out here. The Lions Club, they meet out here. We have 10 sponsoring churches, and over half of those host live services out here once a month, live church services on Sunday. And residents are included in all of those. You know, if there's a group that residents want to meet with, like we have the 4-H group that comes out now too, residents can sit in on those meetings. They've helped the kids with their project talks before, so whatever it may be, you know, we've really worked hard to be a partner with our community and be an asset to them, that they know that they can, you know, come to us if they have a need to, or if we have a need, vice versa. So I think at this point, do we have any questions coming in yet?
No, we don't.
Okay. So do you guys have, what are your questions? Like, I want to talk about what you guys are having issues with versus just talking about what's worked for us. Because what necessarily works for us, you know, isn't going to look the same at your home either.
Okay, so if everybody wants to start typing in their questions, we can start addressing those. Is that what you're wanting to do, Pine Village?
Yes, that's what I would like to do. I mean, I can keep talking, but I want it to be helpful for them.
Okay, well, the chat feature is open and everyone can submit questions, and we can go with that, and we haven't got any yet, so if we don't get any, you guys can just continue to talk about your side of things.
Okay. Surely you guys have questions about something, or what was your goal on stepping in on this webinar today? Okay, well, I know a question we kind of get in general a lot just about person-centered care is how do you get everybody on board with this? You know, how do you keep everybody motivated and get them to see the big picture of it? Consistency and keeping it positive and just staying at it. It would be my biggest suggestions there. You're going to have some bumps in the road. You're going to have some setbacks. We talked about that. You know, it's a journey. It's not a sprint. But I think the biggest thing is if you can pick out those key people in neighborhoods who are maybe championing it, getting them on board and keeping them champions. And we had actually named some folks on neighborhoods, like we have our life enrichment team leaders. We have regular team leaders. And then we also have they're called champions, and they're for our memory care program. Those folks that are really helping, that are on the floor, that are working side by side with all the direct caregivers, they can do more good for you than just me going out and saying, we need to do this. This is why we need to do it. You know, they take, they speak the same language. You know, it's not just coming from the top down, it's coming from direct to direct. So I think that's the biggest thing. The other thing, on the flip side of that, you're going to have some poison out there, and you need to identify that. You can work and cultivate those folks, but you've got to realize that and make the call that, you know what, we've done everything we can for this person to try to get them on board, and they're just not on board with it. And so sometimes we have to ask people to leave the bus. That was probably one of our biggest challenges in the beginning. Some people just cannot change. It's just in their nature. Change is hard enough for, you know, us as humans, but there are some people that I think just fight it more than others. And so you need to identify those people, and after you've exhausted everything possible to get them on board, then you might just have to cut them loose. And you'll be amazed that once you identify those folks, like how much quicker you proceed forward, and just how the atmosphere changes. So.
Okay, we have a lot of construction going on here. I'll talk loudly. So we had one participant say, could you share a couple stories of residents, what differences you saw in them because of these changes in meaningful life, and how has it changed direct caregivers' roles?
Okay. I think on the direct caregiver role side of it, we had to get them to see that you're doing more than just like their, ADLs. You're actually investing them as a person, getting to know their likes and dislikes, and caring for them full person, body, mind, and spirit. And so some folks, we're already doing that. Some people do that. Other folks were not, but it was getting, that this isn't a task I have to complete this, and this, and this, and this for this resident. It's more, what do you guys want to do today? Let's lay out our day versus I already have your day laid out. This is what you need to do. So getting them to kind of rethink that, and just asking the resident, every day, what do you feel like doing today? Do you want to do this, or what do you think about this? Or it's nice outside. Why don't we go, do this neighborhood activity or whatever it may be. So getting them to change on that. Do you have some specific residents or anything you would add on that?
Also like with the person-centered care now, we don't just get everybody up at 6 o'clock in the morning. They have a choice of sleeping in and knowing their routines better and knowing what they want to do throughout the day, individualized, rather than everybody has to get up and go eat breakfast at this time. It's staggered more. So if that person was like a person that like worked at night shift and they're staying up during the night, there's, things for them to do throughout the night rather than being like they have to go to bed at 9 o'clock, things like that.
Yeah, and we do have some residents that do that are night owls and stay up a large portion of the night and sleep more during the day.
And also with like activities throughout the day, we have a lot of people. It used to be where you weren't allowed to have like dementia patients with the high functioning patients, which now we combine both of those together. They're involved and are invited to all group activities, and we see a lot of the higher functioning people helping the lower functioning people and budding up together and creating friendships that you would have never thought would ever have taken effect.
Right. Yeah, and we have some of those right now. In fact, we have one gentleman who's very much in the later stages of dementia, and he has another guy has buddied up to him. And like when the one starts getting agitated, the other one just wheels right over there, and he calms them down. They really have. They've got quite the connection. We've got a set of ladies right now who help each other, get to activities, and we've just kind of buddied up and, do you want to go today, or let's do this today? And Katina has really helped in cultivating those too, and making sure that we're, if there's something they just want to do together, then, we can get that done for them. Thinking back, we had one resident, like when we first did this switch over in our activities program, we had one resident who, I mentioned earlier, some had never had any activities ever charted, no life enrichment. And this was one particular resident. She probably never wanted to participate in group activities, just like knowing her personality. And that's what we just kept shoving at her, come to this group activity. Well, she never wanted to come. So then we document, like refuse to come, like in a negative sort of way. And after Katina got on board with the activity side, we started setting up her on individual programs. And she actually started coming out of her room. She would hang out in the crossroads, and whether it be like doing her activities or just kind of hanging out with, whoever else might be sitting there that afternoon or doing whatever might be going on. But yeah, and not that, I wouldn't, like for my definition, I wouldn't necessarily call her that she became social. It didn't change who she was, but she seemed more open and not isolated. And before I would definitely call her, she was probably very isolated, and she probably felt that way because we weren't providing her anything that she had an interest in or anything that she wanted to do. So she probably did feel left out. But that really changed her as far as her interaction with staff and just wanting to be around people a little bit more, not necessarily in that group setting, like a group setting activity, but out in the common areas. So that was a pretty cool change to see.
We have some more questions coming in. First, someone would like to know, do you post your activities calendar? And they said, we are finding our residents want some structured schedules like bingo and exercise.
Oh yeah, no, and they do, and we still have that. We still have that structured schedule and calendar that Katina puts together.
Right.
Yeah, you were
I
talking
do
about
a monthly calendar, and Monday through Thursday, I am here doing the group, like bingo is every Monday. You cannot, I will not change having bingo. Bingo is on Mondays at 9:30. So that structure is still here. And then it seems like more during the week is when the structure is. On Tuesdays is a music program. On Wednesdays is always sing along. On Thursdays is always worship service. And on like the weekends is more of the spontaneous. They want more spontaneity on the weekends. So the weekend activities person kind of gets together with each hallway and kind of makes a spontaneous activity through that. So the structure is still there, and they still want that structure like during the week, and they're just a little more spontaneous on the weekends. So.
And those, like, we still have those group activities scheduled, like Katina said, but for those residents who don't want the group activities, like, she's still engaging them in their, individual activities too. So, and the other thing that changed on that too, it used to be like, they only have one choice for an activity at this time, and they don't know. They have more things that they can do. If they don't want to do the group activity, they might have a small group of folks playing cards or playing Rummikub or something that's really popular. Or they might have some folks outside, in the gardens, or they might be down at the library. They have options on what they want to do. Like, it's not just sit in your room or go to this group activity. There's other things that they can be doing and are doing.
Okay. Thank you. That was good. We have another one that says, what tools did you use to find out residents' preferences about how they want to spend their day? And how is this shared with all your team members?
Well, on admission, I made up my own tool, and it is called Getting to Know You. It goes along with my Section F that we do on annuals and new admits. And I just have questions in there about past, present, interest, if they were involved in organizations or clubs in the past. I just kind of made up my own tool for that. And then I asked them those questions annually and on new admit. And then just also like quarterly, just asking them, are there any other things that you've enjoyed doing, in the last 3 months or so. And
then we also changed, our clinical assessment that prior to admission. We always send a nurse out to go assess them, whoever it may be. So actually in that clinical assessment, we still get all the clinical information, but we have a whole just personal side too, and ask them like relationships that are important to them. We go in and ask them their food preferences at that time. We also ask them, tell us about your typical day, like what's important to you throughout the day, what are your hobbies, all those, like we ask a lot of personal questions too, now in with that clinical side, so that when the nurses come back, we can have more information to share before they even move in. And then how we get that out to folks, couple ways. Katina always sends hers out through our AOD. We use AOD here, so she always sends that out. It gets charted in there, but then she sends out an email as well, a message. And then we also send out, upon admission, we send it all out through our Outlook emails and then through our AOD. And then also that is uploaded into the AOD system for everyone to have access to as well. So, and then the neighborhood that the resident is going on, they get copies of all of that.
Okay.
For the most part.
Okay. We have a question. How did person-centered care change or affect your budget?
Well, actually, when we did the activity switchover, that actually saved us some money because we were able to eliminate one position there. Probably the biggest area where we had the most increase in budget was on our food, because we went from just having one option at mealtime to now having two. And that was really at first, but we've got that narrowed back down. And I think that's really like just in large part getting to know our residents better and having a better idea of what what they like and what they don't like, so that we've reduced our waste substantially on meal prep there.
And honestly, we have a great CFO. Anytime I've ever asked for money for an outing or new activity products, if it's for the residents, he's all for it. So I'm very thankful for.
Yeah, and that's true. Jason, our CFO, like he has been on board with us from the beginning too. So and I think like when we first started it, we kind of had a fear that like they would be going and asking for like hundreds and hundreds of dollars. I mean, I don't know what we thought they were going to do, but it's like, I mean, usually when they come in for requests, it's like $50, maybe $100, that they're wanting to go do this activity or that activity. Yeah, I mean, we've never declined a request for an activity or anything they want to do because of cost. I mean, I don't think anything's ever been declined at all. But yeah, and really, we also gave each neighborhood their own budget. Is it $200? I think it's $100 or $200 a month that they have to spend on whatever activity they want for the month. That can be spread out over more activities. Sometimes their activities don't cost any money, so maybe the next month they would have a little bit more money to spend. But they're really, I mean, they really took ownership of that and are very conscious and no one's anything. But yeah, having your CFO on board is definitely necessary.
Okay. This next question, the home says, we are a CCRC. Any ideas on how to integrate the IL, AL, and LTC residents?
Oh yeah, we're a CCRC as well. Campus-wide, we have about 200 residents. That's everybody. And several things. Like we have a volunteer program. Our wellness center director actually oversees that. We have, I guess, kind of when we started that, like staff put up, these are kind of some needs that we want that, we could use some extra help with, or volunteers could, participate in. And then our wellness center director, Becky, she would match folks who wanted to volunteer. How many volunteers do we have? We have volunteers.
I should have brought my paper.
We probably have close to, I would say probably 20 to 30 volunteers on average. Some of them come in every day, some of them don't, it just depends. But a lot of those are from our independent living. In fact, we have one lady who meets with residents 8 hours a day, 7 days a week. Not kidding. Like, she's a godsend. And she meets with almost every single resident in our healthcare side, which is 60 residents. I think she meets with pretty much all of them, doesn't she? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, I think it's also key in, like, if you set up a volunteer program that you actually have something for them to do, you're not just like, okay, come today, we'll find something for you. Like, we already generated the things that need to be done. We have chickens here, so volunteers help with that. We have gardens, volunteers help with that.
Beauty shop, getting people to and from the beauty shop, taking them outside for walks, just sometimes coming in and just doing a small project with them, cooking, making pepper nuts, that kind of stuff.
Reading, we've got one lady that comes in and reads to residents.
Some deliver mail.
Yeah, some deliver mail. And the majority of those come from our independent living. Also, we always have big holiday celebrations, and those are always open for the entire campus. Like at the holiday time, we also do block parties, usually one in the spring and one in the fall. We just finished our fall one last week, and that's open to everybody on campus too. And everybody usually comes. We always have a really good attendance. We also have a library here on campus that's run solely by volunteers. I think there's 5 of those ladies, and they completely man that. We have an electronic check-in, check-out system, and we raise money to fund all that. Those volunteers aren't paid, but to get all the books in and to get that computer system, that was all fundraising efforts. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, I think that probably answered their question. We don't have any other questions written in. So if other people have some questions, continue to submit them and we will get them answered. Oh, okay. Yeah, they said yes, that did answer their question. Thank you.
Okay, good.
Good. If anyone has follow-up questions, feel free to submit those as well.
Do you have any final thoughts, Shelby, Pine Village?
I would say just don't be scared to think outside the box, and don't be afraid to fail. Like I said, even if you fail, hopefully I would hope you learn from it. So I would still consider that a success, that, you got to try it or you wouldn't know. Another thing I think that's helped us is that I've kind of been the key person on making sure that we stay on task with Peak. We initially, when we were at level 1 and even level 3, we met every single month, at least once a month, and talked about, what's going on, what roadblocks are we at, where are we at in each of the cores, is there something we need to try different, how do we implement this, how do we inform staff, what do we do, and I think that really was key to our success in making sure that we all stay on the same page. I mean, we all know we're extremely busy every single day, and it's really easy to, lose track, but if you've got that constant communication about it and meeting, I think that definitely helps in making sure you stay on track with it and keep progressing forward.
And with me being the life enrichment coordinator, being brand new to this, having support from Shelby, the DON, and like I said, probably a year. It took probably a good year to really feel. There are times, I would come to work and just feel very defeated. And just going to them, letting them know, what the frustrations are and everything, and just having them reassure you of the progress and keeping you, centered, focused on the person-centered care. It's very helpful to have management behind you.
Yeah. And I mean, direct caregivers, get them involved, residents, obviously. A common phrase now is, say, well, what if we do this? Well, did you ask the residents? That's a common phrase. And Katina and I were talking about that the other day, that used, 3 years ago, that wasn't a common phrase. We just were like, yeah, we think they would like that. Well, you need to ask them. The one most recently was, we have a volunteer that's playing the piano at lunchtime. And we had a couple of residents say, oh, we're not really enjoying that. And so, so Katina went around individually and asked everybody, privately, do you want this? Do you not want this? What do you think? Do you want something different? So those things, and that's just process now. We don't even think about that. That's just reaction. Let's just go talk to all of them and find out what they want. So.
That's a great way to wrap it up right there.
Right.
Awesome. So we just want to really thank Pine Village for sharing today and for all your great questions.